Section 225
The
podcast.
second half.
I'm Sean, and this is Travis, and we're ready to talk some football. How do you even predict this
It was
NFL
a crazy
season?
weekend.
Another
crazy weekend of football.
They always say it's a game of inches, and everybody's got a shot to win, and nothing's been more true than this year.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has a shot to win. Your Broncos won, for crying out loud.
Well, yeah, and again, it was a very even matched game, especially at the end of the day. I was looking at the stats and even matched all the way through. Passing yards like exactly 194. There's hardly any turnovers except for the one to seal the game for the Broncos.
Yeah.
So very evenly matched. No sacks in the game. I think there was one, but like no gain or no loss there. So, but yeah, it's any given Sunday for anyone in the league. So.
It really is, as the 49ers are finding out. Last night, Monday Night Football, they said Kirk Cousins can't win in primetime, but when he's without his probably legendary star wide receiver, Jefferson, I guess he just felt like he could throw it anywhere and not have to worry about getting it to his probably prima donna wide receiver. These wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean,
Metcalf's no different on the Seahawks.
Oh, yeah.
He thinks that his 15-yard penalties that cost us because he can't keep in check is okay.
Oh, really?
Well, I disagree. I disagree. I don't like a guy who's bigger than the game. It is such a team sport. He can't catch a ball if he's not protected.
Yeah, that's true.
But go in some routes and take out that aggression and use your hands to catch the ball instead of letting it come in your body. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there. I'm not bitter towards Metcalf, but man, I'll take Bobo and Jigba all day.
The rookies are looking great this year.
All day because they don't have that attitude. They just want to be good.
All teams. Mm-hmm. Every team has their star rookie already.
Yeah.
So
well, ours is definitely on the other side of the ball. Our defensive stud, man. Little spoon. But anyway, excited to talk to you guys about some of the games this week. What stuck out in your head is, a game. What game stuck out in your head and kind of told you a little bit about teams?
I was looking at the Lions and Ravens game. That one really stuck out to me because, again, I was excited to see the Lions do well this year, and they are. They're doing great. But that game proved to me that also the Ravens are being really good. They are. I mean, Jackson had a great game, 3 or 4 total touchdowns that he had. But yeah, the Lions. That was kind of my surprise of them losing that bad. I mean, it was probably going to go be a great game to begin with, but just a blowout almost.
Well, we'll see how the Lions rebound. Sometimes this could be a really good lesson for a team when you maybe got a little cocky.
Well, sometimes a loss does help because then you have this motivation of all these wins.
Everybody,
everyone.
Because obviously, we get a butt whooping like that. That's not just the players. No. That's coaching.
And I mean, I remember in high school where we were this great high school football team, and we go into a smaller school or not so good football team, and we think we have the win, and then next thing you know, we barely win by 2 points, and then we're doing additional Saturday practice because we didn't play the way that our coaches wanted us to play. So you just can't think like that when you go into these games after you're winning them all. Sometimes a loss makes you think, I'm like, okay, we need to maybe regroup, or we need to realize that we can't just go in there every week and think that we can get an easy win.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the Detroit game because the game for me that probably stuck out there's 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The Niners losing to the Vikings, who just couldn't win a close game. And then I read a stat today that Mike Shanahan is 0-17 when trailing by 5 points or more in the fourth quarter.
Kyle Shanahan,
yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Your old coach.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the other game was Philadelphia really handling Miami and looking like, I mean, there was one drive where they had 2 fourth-down plays that went into the push. You just can't. It's unstoppable. It's got to deflate teams because he's just going to pick it up.
Yeah, was a yesterday game. Yeah, the Niners defense, they tried to stop the tush push there against the Vikings where he leaped the line. He timed it just well. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he timed it just well. I think that's going to be the way to beat it if you can
Well,
do
I
it.
saw a high school kid do that in a video. He
Oh, really?
jumped over the line, grabbed the quarterback by the jersey, and pulled him back. So, it's like, I guess, blocking a kick, which the Cleveland defensive lineman
Yep.
jumped right
Over
over.
him.
And, well, that guy had a game and a half. And another, I mean, let's talk about the Browns for a second, because they beat
What a
the
great game.
Niners. They hold the Niners down with hardly any points, and then you give up 38 points to the Colts.
Yeah, that was a fun game to watch, though, too.
That was a good game. I wasn't excited about it. I'm not going to lie. When it was the only game on.
So that was a morning game, and I went to the Bronco game there in Denver. And as I got to the game, fourth quarter left in the morning games, they had a brand new scoreboard. By the way, it was huge.
Yeah, it looks good.
They actually had the Red Zone channel on it. It looked like I was just sitting back in my own living room watching TV. But yeah, that was the game that I just continued watching. And I was going back and forth. So
yeah, I was really pulling for the quarterback for the Colts,
Minshew.
Minshew, former Coug.
He had a good game too, but
he played well.
But the defense at the end there kind of got to him.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, he put up 38 points on the number one defense in the league. That's not his fault.
No,
he did above and beyond what he should do. And let's be honest, towards the end of that game, I think that the NFL really wanted Cleveland to win. I mean, Cleveland fans, you know what I'm talking about. This kind of boils back down to the Giant Bills game the other weekend, a couple Mondays ago.
Well, and I can even say it about a Bronco game too. There a couple games back, there was a questionable call that could have gone either way. But I don't know. Is the NFL scripted?
I don't want to think that. I really don't want to think that, but I think sometimes.
But those commercials are great.
I think sometimes they definitely want teams to win. I wouldn't say it's scripted, but they definitely do some stuff to help a team in certain situations. It appears. I certainly hope not, because this is a great game that I've enjoyed since I was a kid, and I think everybody would agree. Yeah. Well, let's see how our picks went. Yeah. I'm not feeling too confident.
Well, let's just say that after the Niners lost, and which I thought would be a for sure win, I thought we were going to be fine.
Well, here's our game. So Browns, Colts. Yeah. We both picked the Browns, and they won.
Lucky.
We almost lost it. So we both got that correct. Steelers, Rams.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't believe the Steelers won.
I know Rams are up and down again this year.
So are the Steelers.
Yeah, so I think
How do you even predict this?
I think the Rams were coming down as the Steelers were going up. So
well, we talked about it. It's like, okay, when you have two teams where it's like, you take the home team, right? So we did that. I'm not feeling too horrible about that. Rams had their chances.
Yeah.
Chargers, Chiefs. I think we both picked that correctly. Yeah, Chargers just what? They spent more money on their defense than any other team, and they just struggle.
Yeah.
It's too bad. We both picked the Chiefs. Dolphins, Eagles. Of course, we flip-flopped this game.
Flip-flop on this one.
I went with the home team just because it was hard to predict.
Sometimes you have to. You have to go with the home team.
So
if that's the case.
Here I am.
And I thought Dolphins were going to score, 30-some points. So
taking a commanding lead again this week.
Yeah, but your next two are,
easy.
Again, we both picked the Niners.
So that's a loss. And then you got me, so we stayed. This one I really did once pick the Broncos.
Yeah.
But I picked it so we'd have a pick that was, and the Packers made a comeback.
They did, yeah. But Broncos kicked that long 55-yard field goal and sealed the win with the pick. So
back to the Viking Niner game, when he missed that field goal, I was like, oh no, here we go. But they prevailed with the interception.
And maybe looking back to, if you look deep into the stats, Vikings, they have lost like 4 games this year, just under a possession. So they've, again, coming to these close games and not been able to finish. They were able to finish this one in primetime for Kirk Cousins. So,
well, let's see the results.
Both we went 3-3 this week. So
we're still up 2 games. I really needed this one. I should have picked the Broncos.
We're both still under 500. So we need to help each other out, maybe.
It's embarrassing. I'm 4
It's a
games in.
little embarrassing for
But
us.
that's all right. We can make a comeback.
Yeah.
Did we had someone text in? Did you write down Thurston's picks?
Yeah, I think he picked almost yours. He picked the Dolphins and the Packers.
Okay.
So I think he had the same picks as us, but he picked the
So he
Dolphins and
did even worse.
Packers.
So he was 2-4. 2-4. Well, nice try, Thurston. Try and play along this week and see if you can catch up.
I believe, yeah.
Okay. Week 8 picks. Gosh.
So this week I went through the teams and I picked teams that we have not yet picked on. So these
Okay.
are completely new. Well, most of them, but
Well, Falcons and Titans.
Titans, we haven't.
They're both leading their divisions.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
Titans in the South. Yeah.
Titans. They've been a little unpredictable, and now I hear that they were trying to trade their big stud running back and got no offers.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, and nobody's offering anything.
Huh.
But I don't think they want. He's getting up there.
He's getting up there. He's kind of maybe going downhill, but he hasn't had those big seasons or those big runs yet that I've seen this year.
Yeah, and then the Falcons. I haven't watched them play yet, so I can't really talk about them. But they've been in every game.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in every game.
They had a good start of the season.
And didn't their quarterback just lose his first home game? Was that last week or this?
No, that was a
this
couple
last,
weeks ago.
Yeah,
that was. And then there was some talk about Ritter, if he was even good enough to still continue on. But
well, the Falcons are in the news this week because their running back got limited play time, but he was not on the injured list. So I guess that's a normal thing. I read, but it just made news. Like I've never seen anybody make news about that before, but maybe it was a slow week of news, so they were looking for something.
I'll go with the Titans.
Okay,
I'll go with the Titans.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Titans as well.
Titans. Okay.
Yeah, Texans and Panthers. So here's this unpredictable matchup. You get the number 1 and number 2 picks against each other, starting quarterbacks.
Panthers have not won a game yet, but I think Texans have the better edge on this. They have the better quarterback so far. That's been proven that he is. I'm going with Texans.
Panthers are playing better. They're at home. Maybe they rise to the occasion and they want to beat the Texans. So I'm going to take the Panthers.
Okay. All right. I love it.
I'm going to take the Panthers. Come on, Panthers. Don't let me down because my first instinct was to go with the Texans. But
again, you never know.
All right. Patriots. What the heck? The Bills. You can't. The Bills are dominant and then they stink.
So who do you think had the better win, the bigger win over the weekend? The Bears, Patriots, or Vikings?
Vikings.
Vikings, okay.
Vikings for sure. Because the 49ers, well, they're a quality team. And the Vikings needed that victory.
Yeah.
They needed it. They lose that, the season's over.
Yep.
Patriots, their season's already over.
Yeah.
And then who's the other one you mentioned?
Bears.
Oh, Bears, their season's over. But what a great story. You know, the kid, his dad,
the quarterback, the arm
his
wrestler.
dad's like a 17-year or 28-year, I don't know how many years, arm wrestling champion and super cocky. Super cocky guy. Anyway, this one I'm taking the Dolphins all day long.
Dolphins, I think they're going to rebound from their loss, get back on track of things. So, I'll pick Dolphins at home any day, I think, this year.
Ooh, Ravens at Cardinals. Well, the Ravens absolutely destroyed Detroit, and I don't think that they're going to stop with the Cardinals. So I'm going to take the Ravens.
I'm going to take the Ravens. You know what they have going on, a good team. Struggled a couple games that I think they lost to the Steelers, that one. But I think Jackson, with his performance last week, I think that'll just carry over. Yeah. So I got the Ravens on this one too.
Oh, Battle of New Jersey. I mean New York.
Yeah. Battle of New York, not Marvel or Avengers movie. It's football here.
So the Giants are playing better, and they look really much improved under their backup quarterback, which doesn't surprise me because Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
I've never been impressed with that guy, and the fact that he got a contract was shocking.
The contract that he got was shocking because he's had a good few games, but then he bounces back and just has a horrible game, or bounces, the other direction, and he's not consistent. Somehow he's a scrambler. He doesn't look like an athletic quarterback. And yeah, Tylan Taylor, he's a definition of a backup quarterback. Like he can go in any game with any team, and he can still win games for you.
Yeah, he's a good athlete too. So in this game, I think the Jets have kind of been running on some fumes lately,
Mm-hmm.
and the Giants are starting to get better. I'm going to pick the Giants in this one.
Okay.
I don't want to, but I just feel like they are the better team. I just don't think they've been playing like the better team.
I'm going to go with the Jets. They're coming off a bye week. They won against the Eagles the week before. Maybe that's a little edge for them to like, let's keep the season going. Maybe we can get into the playoffs and have Rodgers come back. So that, again, I don't want them to think that they're going to play the Giants and think this is a easy win. Because again, no game is. So
I think the Giants are going to give them everything they got.
Yeah, and I think this will be a good game actually. Evenly matched.
And it was super impressive for the Giants to beat Washington in the fashion that they did, because Washington is a good team.
Yeah.
So I like the Giants in this one. I think the Jets still have opportunities. They got that first win against the Bills. So if that comes down to a tie at the end of the year,
yeah,
oof. We'll see what happens. They still got to play again. But so I'll take the Giants. You get the Jets.
Yeah. So before we get into, we're doing something new real quick. We're going to do our own power rankings. Our top 10 of who we think.
These are your top 10.
This is my top 10.
I'm going to argue.
You can argue against me. But actually, before we get into this, I just want to ask about this Seahawks game, because it was during the Bronco game and I didn't really catch up on everything. I did see a few highlights. Looked like you guys had a good lead at half, but kind of struggled in the second half.
Yeah, again, 2 weeks in a row, second half struggles for the offense. The defense just shut them out in the second half.
Yeah, okay.
2 weeks in a row. So super impressive the way the defense play. It's almost like they flip-flop. Like the offense was carrying the defense early, and now the defense is literally keeping us in games, which thank goodness, because Geno has hit a rough patch. If he's between the 20s and he has time, guy moves the ball like Patrick Mahomes, right? No problem at all. You get down in the red zone and they add a little pressure on him, and he folds like a lawn chair. His confidence level is not good. And I wanted to blame the play calling, and I think that's still part of it. I think that they're running too long of routes. And it needs to be some quicker stuff, some more. They need to get more creative for Geno.
Yeah.
Because he can't hold the ball that long. He doesn't have that getaway, make something happen type of stuff like Wilson used to have in the past. But he is very precise with his throws, but he doesn't make good choices when the pressure's on. And he holds the ball too long. And I think that it's a combination of him holding the ball too long and the play calls.
Okay.
So, but the defense, I mean, look out. They were flying around the ball, especially our linebacker, number 56. His name's slipping my mind, but I haven't seen that guy play like that ever. And I'm like, okay, he must feel confident about the knee. Yeah. He was flying to the ball. I was like, where's this been your whole career? Like, he's been good. He'll fly to the ball. But he was flying to the ball. Cool. And we were punishing people. I mean, that's exciting for me, because if you watch the Niners, they punish people on their defense.
Yeah. Maybe Kamar Jackson needs to watch some Seattle defense tackling and not do all these unnecessary hits on receivers and getting ejected.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was...
He's going to have another fine coming his way, too.
Yeah.
Before that game, he had a total of $89,000 in fines on hits this year.
What's his name again?
Kamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he get kicked out for 4 games? For that hit?
So far.
Yeah.
He's going to repel, but I'm sure it's going to stick to 4 games. So
yeah, you got to teach him a lesson somehow, I guess.
Second time he's been ejected this year.
All right, let's get to your power rankings here.
So
All right.
starting at 10, I got the Steelers. Reason why I have them there, they had a good win. Their defense is keeping them in there. So I started off at 10 with them. 9, Cowboys had a bye. So nothing much to say about them. They do have a good defense. Dak had a good game previous, so I'll keep them at 9 there for right now. Lions.
Dropped.
I would say they dropped. I would probably have them in my top 5 if I were to do this list last week. But yeah, that loss made them.
That was a whooping.
That was a whooping.
Was
so
a whooping.
I have them at 8 because of that. Seahawks, they probably jumped up on my list if I were to do it last week. Their defense and rookies, they are looking good. So I'm hoping that they climb up on the list as we go week to week here.
Okay.
Niners, again, they were in my probably top 3 at least.
2 weeks ago, they're at the top of your list.
Yeah. So against a game against the Vikings.
Well, Vikings have been in every game. They were in the playoffs last. They have a good team, and their quarterback, help me out.
Brock Purdy.
No.
Oh,
Vikings.
Oh, Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins' numbers are top of the league, right there with Patrick Mahomes, and
I think he has like at least top 3 in the most passing yards.
He's dropping dimes everywhere, and it was an impressive win. So Niners are slipping.
Yeah.
Jaguars are just silently.
So
just
with
there.
that, Jaguars make the top 5. So they have scored 30 or more points in 4 of their games. So you can't look away from that. So I have them at 5. Ravens, right there at 4. Their defense is holding strong, and Jackson, he hasn't made any big mistakes from what I've seen when I've watched him play. So
I was waiting for the Ravens to lose their. I saw it was 21-0. I'm like, oh, they're gonna let that go because last year and even into this year against Steelers.
Well, yeah, against the Steelers,
they let that lead get chipped away, and then they lost the game. So, but anyway, yeah, they look super strong.
Number 3, Dolphins. Again, you can't look away from a 70-point game, so they still stay in the top 3. They struggled against the Eagles, but we knew that was going to be a good game either way. It could have gone either way, but the Eagles came in and played a full game. Dolphins, it seemed like they just stopped at halftime. There wasn't really much after that.
Yeah, I mean, they stalled that stud little wide receiver. He dropped the ball going in the end zone, but then they get it back on the next defensive play with a tip and an interception, pick 6. Man, Dolphins are just like the Bills. You just can't pick it. Yeah. And so I don't know. I don't know. I would say that I guess the only difference I would probably do here is I would probably flip-flop the Niners and the Jaguars and the Ravens and the Dolphins.
Okay.
That's probably the only thing.
We'll see if you'll flip-flop 1 and 2.
Eagles definitely. Definitely 2.
I got the Eagles. They do have a stronger schedule coming up. Very tough schedule on the next, I would say, 6 weeks.
I would say it was even more impressive to lose to the Jets and to come back and really not dominate the Dolphins, but they really handled them.
And then, of course, number 1 is Chiefs. Basically, you could flip-flop these 2, I think. I have the Chiefs as 1. I hate to say it, that they're at the top of my list. But I look at their 1 loss to the Lions, which was by 1 point. So maybe a tougher team. And then the Eagles' 1 loss is against the Jets, maybe not so tough team. That's the only reason why I felt like I had to put the Chiefs at top.
And this right here, I'm glad that they're in there. But
do you notice a team that's not a
Cleveland?
Cleveland is 1.
That's 1.
Yeah. Can you think of another? Bills.
Yeah. Well, I did remember that earlier when I
did not put the Bills in there. They're 4 and 3. If you have 3 losses, I don't think you even consider them in the power rankings.
Yeah, they got to look at something.
I mean, sure, you've had some good wins, but some of their losses, they shouldn't be losing those games.
No.
So
that one really,
something's going. I mean, I guess if you look at it, Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, who else lost that? I'm thinking of, but these elite quarterbacks, like, I mean, they just had maybe a bad weekend. You have to go into these games not knowing, but proving that you are what you were saying you are from the beginning of the season. So,
yeah, Josh Allen is struggling, but I wonder like how they're able to like get it going in like the fourth quarter all of a sudden. What are they doing different? Is that something they should be looking at as far as playing a little quicker for Josh Allen, getting in a rhythm? Because he's not just a quarterback; he's an athlete.
Yeah, and it does take the whole team too. So, because if you look at his stats, like he's up there, and again, are you back falling behind in these games, and then you just have to throw it, so that maybe that's why his stats are up there. But again, you got to look on the other side of the ball too. You can't give up 20 some points to the Patriots.
Yeah.
So
the Patriots, that was just unbelievable. And now they're trying to apologize to the Patriots quarterback. To me, he still stinks. I mean, he had one good game. Let's
slow down a little bit.
Let's calm down a little bit. But anyway, anything else you want to cover today?
No. I mean, I had a great time in Denver. So
yeah, well, I'm heading over to Seattle this weekend. It's the throwback jersey game.
Oh, from the 90s?
From the 80s.
80s. Okay.
80s and 70s from there in when they came into the league. So that's exciting because that's
you have a throwback jersey, don't you?
I have several.
Yeah.
Most of them are hanging in my garage on the wall, but I bought a new one. I think it was last season, a Kenny Easley one, who was our safety at UCLA. He's a Hall of Famer now, but Kenny Easley was just exciting as a kid. He was like one of my favorite players, and I was just like, you know what? I have to have that jersey. I'm going to drop the $200 on it.
Yeah.
And bought it, and then here we go. It's now we get to wear those as a jersey. The only thing I don't like is the NFL's like, well, you only get 3 options. So they took away their Wolf Gray this year so they could wear the throwbacks.
Yeah.
And the green.
Do they wear that gray jersey at home games? Or is it away games?
It's typically away games, yeah.
Okay.
They might still be doing the green one. I can't remember. Maybe it's Thanksgiving or something.
Okay.
Because they have back-to-back Thursday night games. Thanksgiving and then the week after against Dallas.
Okay.
So, and Dallas wears their whites at home, so they can wear their greens on the road. So that might make sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
But anyway, hey, that's our show for today. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to send us your picks, maybe your top 10. We'll take a look at it, and we'll argue it on the show. But anyway, this is our show for today. This is section 325.
The second half.